The Trenton Police Department is facing scrutiny over use of force tactics again, less than 4 months after the Department of Justice launched a federal civil rights investigation into the unit over the practice. Officers have been accused of routinely using excessive force and illegally stopping pedestrians. This time, the capital city's NAACP chapter is speaking out against an early January incident involving law enforcement and a homeless man that advocates say shows the city is failing its most vulnerable residents. Ted Goldberg has the story.
I don't want to do the report. I don't want to lock you up. I don't want to put you in cuffs. I want you to grab your and walk the off.
I'm telling you, my brother, you say how?
I don't care.
A Trenton police officer has come under fire for how he interacted with a homeless man last month. Body cam footage shows the policeman shoving a homeless man during an argument. In the video, you can hear officers shouting at the man who says he was visiting his brother's apartment.
This was an officer who valued his own time over that of a man who was clearly in need of help.
You judge a society by how well or how poorly it treats its most vulnerable citizens. And what we saw in that video from that officer shows us we have a whole lot of work to do in the soul of the city of Trenton.
Such behavior has the chilling effect of eroding trust between law enforcement and the community that they serve.
Trenton's chapter of the NAACP spoke today and called for Mayor Reed Gashora to investigate the footage and take that police officer away from working the streets.
We are not against law enforcement officers. They are a part of the fabric of how we repair, rebuild, and restore our communities. But what we are against is officers who are rogue.
In wealthier white communities like Pennington, Hopewell, Robbinsville, Princeton, none of these residents would ever be treated this way.
Police Director Steve Wilson says the officer's behavior wasn't ideal, but he doesn't think any laws were broken.
The officer could have been a little less rude at one point, but he didn't do anything wrong.
Wilson says the policeman started becoming aggressive with the homeless man because he didn't follow the officer's orders.
Every property owner has a right to be secure in their property, and this guy was trespassing. The officer was trying to convince him to leave. He would not leave behind the story of his brother living in the upstairs apartment.
The NAACP is calling for Trenton to change how it responds to distress calls, even though this was originally a call about illegal dumping. Advocates say community groups should be responding rather than police officers, something Wilson doesn't necessarily disagree with.
So in instances which are quality of life, mental health, substance use issues, it's better to have brothers like these showing up who care about people.
We can't force people to go to crisis. We can't force people to take shelter with a service. We can't do that, but we offer it. So and that's specifically why I created the Daytime Task Force 2 years ago.
Other cities have seen success with Arrive Together, a program that pairs mental health professionals with policemen for certain 911 calls. Wilson says he'd like to see Trenton be a part of that.
But you got to have the resources to do that, and so I'm not in charge of those resources, but it will certainly be explored by me, and I'm not against it at all. It's not something that I didn't hear of. It's something that I did inquire about, and if I can get it here, then I'll be glad to do it.
Wilson says supervisors have reviewed the body cam footage, and he doesn't think the officer should be disciplined for his actions, something sure to disappoint advocates who are calling for consequences. In Trenton, I'm Ted Goldberg, NJ Spotlight News.